All right, today we're going to build this shaker side table. I built this 10 years ago with the help of my dad. It was like the second or third piece of furniture I ever built. We're going to make one just like this, except we're not using walnut. We're using wood from the big box store that only cost $18. Can we make fine furniture, fine woodworking for $18? I don't know. Let's try it. Thousands of dollars of tools might help. Before we can start on the legs, we got to make a jig. This is called a tapering jig. Now, this is just two pieces of plywood, a hinge, and then a little contraction down here to allow you to open and close it and tighten it down where you want it. I'll show you how to make it, then we'll jump into making those legs. It's time to make our legs. So we are milling up the 2x4 into 1.5 by 1.5 inch blanks, and then we're going to make a two-sided taper where the two insides of the legs taper down to be more slender. So it starts at 1.5 inches here, and it'll go down to a little under 3/4 inches here. Now, one key thing to note is our taper won't start until about 6 inches down because your skirt goes in right here. You don't want the taper to come up too high and cause a gap at the bottom of your skirt. So let's break that jig in. All right, it's time to mill up our skirts and our tabletop. On the skirts, it's pretty straightforward milling process, but then one thing to key on is this front drawer. It's still all the same piece of wood. We just keep it a little wider and then cut and then account for our gaps so that it's still the same height as the other skirts. Nothing crazy, but it maintains the same board on the front. You don't have to do that. Next is the tabletop, and all we do is join it up, make sure the joint in between is nice and pretty, and glue it up. We're not using biscuits or anything. It's just one little joint. I can keep that flat. Let's get on it. All right, the time has come for our joinery that connects to our skirts, and the winner is pocket screws. Oh, I know, you're so disappointed. But pocket screws is a great option for this. It doesn't have to take a lot of weight, or it will never move in its life. So, and you know, the other big thing is I don't want to spend like a couple hours doing mortise and tenon, and just don't be mad at me. Now we turn onto the drawer. We're just gonna build a little box, and we're gonna do butt joints and screw them together. But the inside is gonna have a little dado for a piece of hard board to sit in, but leave a little room for some expansion and contraction. Lastly, there's gonna be a groove on the outside, and we're gonna mount a piece of wood on the inside of the table for it to just slide in. We're building our own sliding mounts. Y'all, I hate drawers. Oh, so much. And I just screwed up, but I think it's gonna be fine. I didn't put these holes consistently, and I still have to run a groove down for our sliding mechanism, and I could take them out and move them, but since I use brass, I could just still cut the brass on the table saw. So we're gonna do that. Hopefully we miss most of the screws. I don't want to go through a whole screw, you know, that'd be a lot. But we'll just do that instead of moving them. It's time for stain. So we're going to be using gel stain. If you've never used it, it's like real glumpy and you just put it on. And I think it works best on like whitewoods and SPF because they're so blotchy, and gel stains tend to sit on the surface more than penetrate in. Now you could say I should use some pre-stain, and I could do that, but I want this stain to be as dark as possible, and a lot of those pre-stains, you know, they inhibit the stain. So we're just gonna hope that the gel stain makes it dark without being too blotchy. We're down to the final touches. We need a knob. Now we could run to the store and buy one. Heck, I probably have some in junk drawers inside. But where's the fun in that? Let's make our own. I've got a little offcut from our legs. Made a little jig for the lathe. Let's throw it on there. Turn our own. We'll even spray paint it gold. Make it look like brass. And then, you know, let's put it all together. Before we get to those final shots, if you like this kind of stuff, I would love it if you subscribe. And if you really like this piece, I'm going to have it for sale on my website, backyardyachtclub.com. I'll put it in the description below. Thanks for watching.